rather be eating your brain. Hello, my fellow friends and humans of the world. So today I'm going to talk about a few of my favorite Goosebumps books. By the way, thank you to Alicia for this idea. It wouldn't have came about if she didn't give me the idea. So thank you, Alicia. So I'm going to talk about a few of my favorite Goosebumps. As you can see, I have my art of Goosebumps up there. I might flip through it for you guys to show you the original covers, because some of these I don't have the original 90s covers. So keep that in mind. But these still are some of my favorite Goosebump books. So they're not in any particular order whatsoever. I just pulled them off the shelf. Well, I pulled them out of my little storage where I have all my books that I've read. I pulled those out, pulled them out of there, and we're going to talk about them. So, like I said, in no particular order. So, we're going to get through. And, I'm not going to say who wrote them, because everyone knows it's R.L. Stine who wrote them. Original 90 covers were done by Tim Jacobus. I don't know who does his new covers. I should have looked it up beforehand. But we shall figure it out. So the first one I have right here is one of his new covers, which is Ghost Beach. I love this cover. So Ghost Beach is really, really good. It's about a brother and sister. Sorry, it's about a brother and sister. They go visit their family on an island, and then they realize that the sister likes like gravestone rubbings. She loves doing that. So she was doing one, and she realized they had the same last name as them. So they were talking to their great aunt and uncle about it, and they're like, well, there's many Sadlers. I do believe there's Sadlers. There's many Sadlers that have been here for many of ages. There's also a thing in here, if a dog is barking at someone, they're a ghost. There's this hermit type guy who lives up on a cave, on a cliff, and their aunt and uncle tells them to stay away from him because he's super creepy, he's weird, he's like no one should be around him type thing. So yeah, it's such a really good book. I read this, I don't remember exactly when I read this, but when I was reading it, I read it at night in the dark, so it wasn't creepy, but I'm a huge ghost fan. I love ghost stories. Sorry if you hear my son. But yeah, it's about ghosts. I'm not going to ruin any of the endings for you guys of these books. So if you're looking for that, I'm sorry. It's not what I'm doing. But it's about a bunch of ghosts. And so I love it. I gave it a 5 out of 5, of course. Okay, this one is one of his newer books. This is Goosebumps Slappys World. This is number 14, 5th grade zombies. Look at that cover. Love all the green on this. I'm a huge, green is my favorite color, y'all. But 5th grade zombies is so good. So it's about Todd. He goes to visit his aunt and uncle and cousin, like in the countryside and everything, and he starts seeing some weird stuff, kids acting weird. He's going to a school here while his parents are doing stuff overseas, and he notices this weird blackout bus. It's completely blacked out, like the windows are tinted and everything. The bus is painted black. When he goes, the principal tells him, you have to be in your class at a certain time. No one's wandering the halls at this time of the day or anything like that. So he ends up wandering the halls when he's not supposed to, comes across this room, and he sees these kids. but they're not normal kids, and they smell weird, like decayed, dead animals and everything. His cousin like tries to tell him and warn him about them, but he doesn't listen, and one thing leads to another, and he finds out what these kids are. And obviously there's zombies, because you could tell, because it's 5th grade zombies. But yeah, oh my god, you guys, it is so good. Like, he also gets in here, Todd also gets lost in a cornfield, and he sees one of these kids from the bus, and he follows them and realizes that they're a zombie and they're undead. And then his uncle and aunt don't believe him, and he's like trying to figure out why they don't believe him, and they're like telling him to stay away and everything, because there's a high probability that he can become a zombie too if he doesn't leave these kids alone. So yeah, loved it, you guys. So the next one I'm going to talk about is also a Slappys World, is a Slappy in Dreamland. And this one, y'all, is creepy as hell. Like, picture Slappy showing up in your dreams and controlling you and making you fall asleep with just a snap. This evil ass dummy, like, y'all, it's so crazy and weird. It's about Richard, and his mom is a sleep doctor, so she takes him to her her little building and everything, and he comes to realize, and then he asks her to hook the electrodes and stuff up to Slappy, and she's like, ooh, that's weird. And he's like, what? She's like, it says he has brain waves. So one thing leads to another, and of course Richard says Slappy's words that you're not supposed to say to wake him up, like every kid does inside of these books. So good. And I do believe I gave all these either a 4 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5. So my next one is number 46, and it's Attack of the Jackolanterns. So this story is about some friends who get bullied by these other kids and always do tricks on them and scare them. So they are going to do the tricking and the scaring this Halloween and everything. So they devise a plan and all that, and one thing leads to another, and they all end up being scared, besides just the two that want to be scared. So they're all scared, and then you find out at the end that 2 of their best friends are not of this world, and they eat only fat humans. They don't eat skinny humans. They eat overweight humans. Why? It's not explained, but they do. And it's really good. And I love this cover, and it's perfect for Halloween. Like, oh, love it. Okay, the next one is Ghost Camp. I just read this summer, and if you guys don't know the story of this, I've been looking for this book for years upon years upon years, because I had it as a child, and we were on our way home, and my brother seen the cover. I had it sat next to me, and I was excited to read it as soon as I got home, and it's just sitting next to me. My brother looks at the cover and grabs it and chucks it out the car window, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, what the heck? And he's like, the cover scares me. This cover scared my little brother. How? I don't know. This isn't even the scariest Goosebumps cover, but it scared him. And my stepdad refused to turn around so I could go get my book. So I didn't read it until this year, y'all. It's so good. So it's about these 2 brothers who go to a camp called Camp Spirit Moon. And one of the brothers is noticing some weird, creepy things. Like a girl puts her hand in this fire. She takes it out like it's nothing. It's not burning her. Anything like that. Another kid literally takes off his freaking head off of his shoulders and hands it to him. It's so weird, but it's so good. and the plot twist of this and the their like camp mantra is so freaking funny. This is such a good book, and the ending, wasn't expecting the ending. And I know I have this stupid thing because I got this book secondhand. Sorry about that, y'all. My husband called. So, where we left off at. This next one is my all-time, hands down, favorite Goosebumps book ever. When everybody asks me what my favorite book is, this is the book I tell them. Werewolf at Fever Swamp. Why is it my favorite book? Because I love wolves. As you can tell, I got a tattoo of one. I love werewolves. I grew up watching Lon Chaney Jr.'s The Wolfman with my dad. They're amazing. Amazing animals. But this one, Werewolf at Fever Swamp, is about a kid named Grady who moves into a swamp in Florida with his parents. His parents are scientists. They're trying to do control study on, I think it's deer or elk. I do believe it's deer. So Grady ends up meeting this kid inside, like his neighbor, and he starts telling him about this hermit that lives in the swamp, and they say he's a werewolf. If you get bit by him or if you get scratched by him, you get turned into a werewolf. Grady ends up finding a dog, and no one claims him, so he gets to keep him. He names him Trigger. And the dog also helps him figure out if there's anything creepy and weird going on around in town. One thing leads to another, and Grady becomes a werewolf. And at the end, they try to figure out why and everything. And as you know, his parents are scientists and stuff. So, yeah. But all-time favorite. This is not the original cover, but I have seen this gray cover around a lot. The original cover I had was purple. I could show you in that one. Hold on one second. Let me find it, because the original cover I know is purple. It's my favorite cover, my favorite Goosebumps. Some of the pages were stuck together. I don't know why my pages are sticking together, and I hope it's because it's not getting too hot. Come on, where is... Come on. There's Ghost Beach. Some trouble. Here's the original cover for A Werewolf at Fever Swamp. You can see all the purples inside of it. It's super beautiful and gorgeous, and I loved it so much. This is hands down my favorite R.L. Stine book so far ever. So yeah, 5 out of 5 for sure. I reread this book so much. I actually had original copy, but when I left my ex, he kept the book for some freaking reason. I don't know why. He kept half of my books, because who knows? Maybe he thought I would go back to him. Who knows? But yes, so I want to get a copy that doesn't have this on it and has the original raised bumps on Goosebumps and everything. The original copy that I had before. Alright, my next one I want to talk about is Welcome to Dead House. This is the first Goosebumps book not ever, but this is the first one in the line. This one is super good, super creepy and freaking weird as hell. So this is about Josh and Amanda. They move into this house, and weird things happen. People are trying to take the color from them, and their mom and dad don't believe them, and these kids tell them to play in a cemetery. So yeah, really weird and creepy. Loved it so much. I like this cover. I like the close-up of the haunted house that they live in, but the original cover is so much better. I love the original cover. It's so just, the way that the house is set up is just so freaking amazing. Here's the original cover. You can see that, how the house is set up. This cover looks a little bit more creepier than that cover does, but that's Tim Jacobus's. I think Tim Jacobus's covers were more creepier than these new ones that are the revamped ones. So the next one I'm going to talk about is Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. This one was super funny and freaking hilarious. Loved it so much. It's about this kid. His dad takes competition in decorating their yard. This whole like neighborhood decorates their yards, and they have competitions about it. And he finds these creepy gnomes inside of an antique store, and the kids think they're weird and creepy, and because they say that in front of the gnomes end up coming to life at night and cause mischief. But it's so hilarious. Like, they write on the girl's face, they write on the boy's face. They go to the neighbor's yard and they destroy his yard, and yeah, it's just this one is such a funny freaking ride. It's so hilarious. I loved it so much. I was laughing throughout this book so much. I loved it. It was so good. The next book I want to talk about is A Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. The original cover is a little bit more creepier than this, but I still do love this cover. So this is about Jody. She's visiting her aunt and her grandparents' farm. And what happens with this one is one of their farmhands gets this book about possessions and everything, and he possesses a scarecrow to scare the living crap out of her grandparents and make them do whatever he wants. And one thing leads to another, and she ends up breaking the curse so her grandparents don't have to do what the farmhand does. He's an innocent man. He just got a hold of this book that he shouldn't have been reading or got a hold of, and shenanigans come afoot with this scarecrow, and she thinks it's his son, but it turns out that it's the farmhand and not the farmhand's son. And then they have a really happy ending, which is so cute and cool. But the scarecrow is creepy. It does some weird stuff. Like, it follows her to this lake. It pushes her into this lake. It creeps up into her dreams. It gets into her bedroom and watches her sleep. Like, it's weird. Like, picture a scarecrow just following you around everywhere. A menacing scarecrow following you around everywhere, y'all. Alright, and the last final book I'm going to talk about is The Abominable Snowman of Pasadena. I actually don't live far from Pasadena, California myself. But this one is so freaking cool. So, Jordan and Nicole, Jordan and Nicole, they live in California. Their dad is like a photographer, and he gets an assignment to go to, I think it's the Alps or something, to film and document a Yeti. So, he goes there, and he ends up taking his kids with him, and they find the Yeti and everything, but he's frozen. They bring him back to California, and what happens? oh my god, he melts and he starts terrorizing the town. What did they think was gonna happen? They brought a snow monster to California and thought he was gonna not thaw out? Are you kidding me? What? But, so, yeah, they just deal with this terrorizing Yeti that goes around destroying Pasadena. And, like, it was so good. When I first read this, I don't remember, I remember I read it at night, and literally the next day I had to go to Pasadena. So I'm like, what the F? What if there's an abominable snowman in Pasadena? Like, I stayed up all night reading this book, because I was like, I'm going to Pasadena. What if I find a freaking Yeti there? Knowing that there's not going to be a Yeti in Pasadena, I know. My brain doesn't work that way sometimes when I'm reading. I'm like, what if this happens? What if that happens? I'm weird, y'all. I'm sorry. But, yeah. So good. So, I also loved the, brother and sister relationship in this one. Like, there's these kids that bully them inside of this book, and the brother sticks up for his sister, which is so awesome and amazing. I love how he sticks up for his sister. I don't like the fact that their dad just... It's a recurring theme inside a Goosebumps book, but the parents are horrible parents. I'm sorry to say, but they're horrible parents. Just know that. But their dad he doesn't pay attention to them. He just leaves them by themselves, makes them do whatever they want. He cooks for them, or he just tells their nanny or whatever to freaking cook for them or stuff. Like, they're 12-year-olds. They still need attention. So, yeah. But, so good. And I love the cover of this one, too. The original cover, he's, like, holding on to a street light, which is pretty cool. I can actually show you on the cover. This is the original cover of a snowman in Pasadena. Abominable snowman, sorry. So these were the Goosebumps books that I talked about. I thoroughly enjoy all of these. These are my favorites. My all-time favorite, though, is still Werewolf at Fever Swamp. I don't know if there's going to be anyone that knocks Werewolf at Fever Swamp out of the park for me, but that's my favorite one. Hands down. Most people say their favorite one is The Haunted Mask, but I'm an oddball, and mine is Werewolf at Fever Swamp. So, yeah, let me know if you guys have read any of these Goosebumps books, what you all thought about them. What's your favorite Goosebumps book that you had as a child or as an adult? Because a lot of these I did not read, so I am reading as an adult, and I am still reading Goosebumps because I still buy the new ones that come out. So, let me know what y'all is your favorite and everything, and chat with me down in the comments. I would love for us to chat in the comments. I know this video is long. I'm sorry, but I'm very passionate about Goosebumps. It's my favorite book series ever, and I love R.L. Stine. He's my favorite author, one of my favorite authors ever. But yeah, I only have two favorite authors, which is Edgar Allan Poe, R.L. Stine. Wouldn't you know, they both do like horror gothic stuff. I don't know what that says about me, but hey. So, this is the end of the video. Remember to be safe out there, guys, and always be kind to each other. I will see you in the next one. Bye.
If I could begin to be half of what you think.